school is upon us, guys, and you all know exactly what that means. If you have a school-age children, whether they are in elementary, middle, high school, or they are going off to college, they need supplies, they need things. Let's go ahead and look at this video and deep dive into some back to school savings tips that you can use now and in the future for back to school. If that is something that you are interested in, you definitely want to stay tuned to this video. Hi guys, my name is Nija and I am the head bacon in charge. And if you guys have been around these parts for quite some time, then you know that I love saving money. I will try to find a deal any way that I can, making sure that I use coupons, apps, cashback, all sorts of things in order to either receive money back or spend less out of pocket. So that is what this video is going to be talking about, how you can spend a little bit less out of pocket for this back to school shopping that you are having to do this year. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the all notification bell. So tip number one, because we all like to save money. I know we do, especially in these times of high inflation, we need to be saving money. Tip number one is that for the back to school supply list, go ahead and print that off or have the list on your phone. All right, you need to be able to see exactly what is needed from the school for your child. Okay, you can make some easy substitutions if you want to. You don't have to get all of the name brand items. I know a lot of times that a lot of the schools, they will list all of the name brand items, but trust me, as a teacher, we don't require all of the name brand items, just as long as they have some items. Now, I do teach middle school, so the supply list for me is a little bit different than what it would be for elementary, but I do have a son that is of elementary age, and I try to make sure that I get things that are affordable within my budget, but that he still has and is able to use at school. So as you can see here, I have some supplies right here on this desk. We got some markers, colored pencils, we have a pencil sharpener, as well as pens, paper, and notebook. These are some of the basic things that I know that I'll need for him. But I need to have the supply list first. So make sure you get that supply list, okay? Because you want to have that ready and be able to look and see exactly what you need. Tip number two for back to school savings, all right, is to go ahead and inventory what you have at home. That means we are inventorying clothes, supplies, shoes, undergarments, hair bows, whatever it is that you think that your child will need or that they have expressed that they would like for back to school. Okay, got to have a happy medium, a little bit of a balance here. All right, so what I do every year is I make sure I inventory and see exactly what the kids need, what can be salvaged, what can be used for next time, or just basically like, hey, I need to just toss this out and get something fresh and new. That's mainly shoes. Especially if you have boys, you know how hard and rough they are on shoes and pants, especially in those early years, okay? So you may have items already at home that you have. A lot of these supplies right here, I already had these from last year when I went to a back to school bash. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, but I had a lot of these already in a backpack, so I didn't have to buy anything. I just needed to look through and see what I had and compare it to tip number one, which was the school supply list, in order to see what I could check off that I don't need to purchase, okay? And speaking of supplies, guys, I have been posting on my community posts as well as over on Instagram. I saw some really good deals as far as Amazon and back to school supplies. Like literally, I saw where they had 30 pencils for $1.99. Make sure you go ahead and check out the pinned comment that I have. It has about 10 to 15 different back to school supplies that you probably could use and need, especially if you have school age children. All right, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. Remember, we're doing this all on a budget and trying to make sure that this is very, very affordable. Inventory what you have at home. Okay, go through it, look, see. All right, tip number three is that you want to go ahead and create a list of everything that you need along with having a realistic budget. Now, I have a back to school envelope, and what I do is I save in that envelope every single month between $50 and $100 every single month. It just kind of depends on how my budget is. But if you have not started early with saving, you need to look at what your paychecks look like before school starts and when you're getting ready to shop to see how much realistically that you can go ahead and spend, okay? But you need a list. You need a list of everything that you will need after you have already inventoried and seen what you already have at home, all right? Which brings me to a number 4. If you don't have much money, let's go ahead and say that we can look at possibly, if you're open to it, Facebook Marketplace, resale shops, swap with other parents for new or used clothing and or supplies and items, okay? Maybe there's some things that your child has grown out of, like maybe they don't necessarily need markers, but you know of a parent that needs markers. You could swap something that they have for the markers, okay? So you're gonna have to get a little bit creative regarding how to save for back to school. Remember, we're trying to save our money as much as we can, but still getting quality used items. Obviously, you know that you may need to go ahead and inspect the items that maybe you're swapping with other parents or that you are getting off of Facebook Marketplace or resale shops, okay? Make sure you inspect those things. Again, if that's not your jam, then don't worry about it. Let's move on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 for back to school savings is cashback websites and or apps, all right? You can use Rakuten. I believe they changed their name recently. Swagbucks is another one. Honey, as well as if you have some credit cards. I know Capital One, they always put up some type of notification to me letting me know that there's some cashback that I can receive for a purchase. So definitely use the cashback websites, because if you do a lot of online shopping anyway, why not go ahead and get some money back from those purchases? Great time to do that when you are purchasing those back to school items that are much needed. Tip number 6. If you use money making apps, and I don't know why you're not using them, I do a series of videos every single month sharing how I make money from apps. This has been going on for well over 5-6 years now, but I have been documenting how much money that I received every single month from apps that all I have to do is just scan a receipt to. If you are interested in any of those apps that I'm talking about, there's Receipt Hog, Receipt Jar, Fetch, all of those. Make sure that you look in my description box. But if you get gift cards from those money-making apps, that will help to offset the cost of what you're paying out of pocket for supplies, clothes, and shoes. And that is a win-win situation regarding back to school shopping, especially if you have multiple children or even just one child. They're all expensive at this point, okay? All right. Tip number 7 is after you have done your shopping, what I want you to do is those same money-making apps that you use to earn the gift cards in order to help you purchase some of the back to school stuff. I need for you to go ahead and scan your receipts to those money-making apps so that you can get more money back from those apps, okay? All it takes is a few seconds of your time to scan your receipts. You can get points, which then equates to cash and or gift cards that you can earn. Remember, we're trying to put more money back into our pockets for next time, or maybe supplies that we need for later on, just to kind of re-up the stash for our children. Which brings me to tip number 8, and this is something that I will personally be doing as well, along with all of these other tips that I have shared with you so far. But shop your tax-free weekend for your state. So you just simply need to look up and see if your state has tax-free weekend and what days that it encompasses and what items that it encompasses, because sometimes they have restrictions on what items can be purchased tax-free. Mine is actually going to be this upcoming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there is a limit of $100. So anything over $100 will then be taxed. But if you do it right, you can just get all the way up to almost $100 and then make a separate purchase if you need to. All right, so shop the tax-free weekend. I know it's kind of controversial because some people say they hike up the prices during that time, but maybe if you just have a few things that you need to get, or maybe if you need to get shoes, which can be very, very costly, it may just actually be worth it to you, as well as maybe electronic devices. So shop your tax-free weekend and find out exactly when that is for your state. And tip number 9 is something that I did this past weekend, and that was attended a free back to school bash event. There at the back to school bash event, they had backpacks, shoes, they were doing haircuts for free, they had all types of supplies, coupons for local companies and activities. One of the activities that I received a coupon for was for my youngest son to be able to get 5 hockey sessions, 1 per Saturday, for the next 5 weeks. All the gear, everything is included in the price of it. No obligation. I don't have to put any money down. They also had a local restaurant that was there called Raising Cane's, which was giving out coupons as well for free combos. So that was totally worth it. And they also had a bunch of supplies. And I received a pair of shoes for my youngest son, which are perfect because he can play in those shoes and not ruin his school shoes that we've already purchased for him. So yes, attend a free back to school bash or event that's local in your area. They are always trying to give back to the community. And you know, with backpacks and shoes and haircuts, all of that adds up. It can get very, very expensive. So make sure you are taking part in those particular activities. A simple Google search will allow you to find out where you can go and attend those places. And those are the tips that I have for back to school savings and how you can put more money into your pocket as well as save on the current items. Because let's just face it, if you don't have to pay out of pocket full price, why would you? All right, guys, if you happen to enjoy this video and you do have some other tips that maybe I didn't mention, drop those in the comment section and let us know exactly so that we can share as a community on ways that you save for back to school. Until the next video, when I see you guys, bye.